Discover the heartwarming transformation of a girl sold for $5 million. An incredible journey revealed. Mia leaned against her bedroom wall, arms crossed tightly over her chest, feeling crushed under a weight she didn't choose. The neighbors' laughter drifted through her window, a stark contrast to the silence that filled her home. This wasn't the life she imagined. Just 15 months ago, her father had returned from war, a hero adorned in medals yet confined to a wheelchair, his spirit irrepressible, but his body painfully altered. Her mother was juggling 2 jobs just to keep the lights on, and at 16, Mia felt like she was carrying the world alone. One afternoon, as the shadows lengthened in their quiet Midwestern town, Mia scrolled aimlessly through local news on her phone. Her breath caught in her throat. An article flickered on her screen, sensational, yet horrifying. A human trafficking ring lurking in the shadows of her once safe community. Young girls, like her, assigned a price tag $5 million for their innocence. Mia's heart raced, anguish pinching at her chest. She felt small, but not in the way you'd expect. Instead of hiding, a new fire ignited within her. Tears brimming in her eyes, Mia thought of all the girls who might not have the courage to fight back. She wouldn't let them be silenced. Burdened but fueled by rage, she sought out Sam, the retired veteran next door. His tired eyes somehow held a world of strength. He shared stories of bravery and resilience from the front lines. As she listened, she felt that glimmer of hope, an indelible bond forming, whispering promises of change. She made a decision. She wouldn't just survive anymore. She would stand against this darkness. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With Sam's encouragement, Mia joined a group of local activists. They were passionate, furious, and united. Each meeting buzzed with voices yearning for change. Yet, a shadow hung over her. Her purpose came with risks. She could lose everything. Just when she found a rhythm, a betrayal cut through her heart like a knife. Someone she had trusted, someone who knew her every secret, turned against her. It rattled her to the bones. Who could she trust now? Just then, whispers of her fight began to ricochet through the town. Neighbors reached out, rallying behind her cause. For the first time, she felt the warmth of community. She realized she wasn't alone in this battle. The stakes had risen, though. The whispers of danger felt alive around her. But darkness had eyes, and as she stood at the precipice of confrontation, Mia's resolve steadied. Could she truly be a beacon of hope? Would love prevail against wicked odds? The town held its breath, poised for change. Mia faced the emerging tide, questions swirling around her. Was she strong enough? Could they turn the tide of fate together? At that moment, one thing became crystal clear: her worth was not defined by an arbitrary price, but by the unwavering bond of family and community. And as night fell, she stood tall, ready to fight for their freedom and for her future. Would her courage rewrite the story of her town, or would the darkness snuff out the light? The chill of night wrapped around Mia as she stepped out of her front door. The stars twinkled meekly overhead, a distant reminder of hope in a turbulent world. Determination danced in her heart, like flames flickering just out of reach. She knew the risks lurking in the shadows, yet she refused to slip back into silence. Each day brought new allies, familiar faces lighting up in solidarity, ready to march forward into the fight for justice. But with each show of support came fear. The betrayal from someone she trusted still stung, sharp as a serrated knife. Mia couldn't shake the feeling that the danger was closer than it seemed, and she had to remain vigilant. On the corner of Maple Street and Oak Avenue, the activist group gathered. Their spirited chatter barely masked the tension thick in the air. Mia felt the weight of their expectations, and for the first time, she wondered if she could live up to being their leader. As she took her place among the group, Sam caught her eye and gave her an encouraging nod. His belief in her was contagious, and as she stood before her community, her voice filled with both vulnerability and strength. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice trembling at first but gradually gaining momentum. "This fight isn't just mine. It's ours. We cannot let fear win. Together, we can protect our children and our neighbors. We need to be their voices." The crowd erupted with cheers and applause, sending a wave of warmth through her chest. In that moment, the fear melted away. Yet, just as quickly as the warmth spread, shadows flickered at the edges of her vision. "Remember, they're watching," a voice whispered from the back. A cold shiver raced down her spine. Were they really safe? Despite her unease, Mia pressed on. She unveiled their plans to distribute flyers, hold workshops, and create a safe space for girls in the community to share their stories. Each move was calculated, each word carefully chosen to lift spirits and draw attention. As she spoke, she caught sight of a girl standing slightly apart from the group, her eyes wide and glistening with tears. Recognizing the look of someone who had been too silent for too long, Mia felt a tug at her heart. "Let us create a space where every girl feels safe and heard," she announced, meeting the girl's gaze. "Every story matters." The girl stepped forward, relief washing over her face as she felt the weight of Mia's words. As plans began to take shape, Mia felt the embodiment of community swelling around her. But with her heart filled with hope, dread crept back, whispering ominously in her ear. Who was watching? And what would happen if they struck back? After the meeting closed, the adrenaline faded, leaving only the quiet aftermath. At home, Mia lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the shadows around her room feeling more foreboding than ever. Suddenly, the calmness shattered as her phone buzzed with a message. Heart racing, she picked it up. "Be careful. We're closer than you think." Her blood ran cold. Was someone truly watching her movements? The night turned darker, her mind racing. What could she do? As she tucked her phone back under her pillow, a surge of doubt crept in. Mia pressed her hands to her chest, steadying her breath. Would she ever feel truly safe again? Or would her efforts to shine light only lead her further into the dark? The real battle was just beginning. Would she brave the storm and uncover the truth behind the shadows pressing in around her? Mia sat up in bed, her heart pounding, her breath unsteady. The message burned in her mind, a chilling reminder of the peril she now faced. She pulled the covers tighter around her shoulders, trying to ward off the cold that seeped deeper than the night air. The light from her alarm clock flickered like a warning, illuminating the fraying edges of her resolve. She knew she couldn't stay frozen in fear, yet the risk felt all-consuming. A thrilling mix of adrenaline and dread twisted in her belly. The group depended on her, but the note sent her spiraling into uncertainty. She had promised to be their voice, to fight for those who couldn't. Could she really safeguard them when she wasn't sure of her own safety? The next morning was overcast, the skies mirroring her dread. She dressed quickly, layering on a sweatshirt that felt heavier than usual. It was time to focus, to harness the energy from the meeting and use it. Yet doubt wrapped tightly around her, whispering warnings that made her stomach churn. At the park, the familiar faces greeted her with smiles, their energy lifting her momentarily. Sam was already there, setting up a big banner that read, "Every voice matters." The slogan resonated with Mia, a simple but powerful reminder that she wasn't alone. Sam looked up and winked, a silent affirmation of her strength. But just then, a gust of wind rattled the branches overhead, causing Mia to pause. As people began to gather, laughter and chatter filled the air, yet there was an undercurrent of tension. Mia glanced around, scanning the crowd for familiar faces. She spotted the girl from last night's meeting, Emma. Her name was. Standing on the fringes, she clutched a folded flyer in her hands, her expression uncertain. Mia felt a pull in her heart. She had to reach her. "Hey, Emma," Mia called out, motioning her over. The girl hesitated before stepping forward, her eyes darting to the ground. "Hi," Emma whispered, almost inaudibly. Mia crouched to be at eye level with her. "I'm so glad you came. Remember, you're safe here. We're all here for each other." She watched as Emma's features softened, a flicker of hope igniting in her eyes. "Do you want to help me with the flyers?" Mia suggested. Emma glanced back toward the larger crowd, uncertainty clouding her features. "I'm not really good at talking," Emma mumbled, her voice wavering. Mia reached out, placing a hand on her shoulder. "It's not about talking, it's about being yourself. Your story matters, and you can help share that." One small voice can make a huge difference. With a deep breath, Emma nodded slowly, a small smile cracking her nervous demeanor. Mia felt a warmth bloom inside her, a reminder that connection could shrink the shadows that loomed as they began to spread the flyers across the park. Mia felt the weight of her fears lift, if only slightly. She laughed and shared stories, her voice rising above the whispers of doubt that encircled her mind. Emma started to engage too, speaking softly to those who stopped. But just as things began to feel right, Mia's phone buzzed again. Her heart sank. She glanced down, and her blood ran cold once more. "We see you with your little group. You should stop." The chilling truth washed over her. There was no hiding from those who lurked in the shadows. Panic began to bubble just under her skin. Standing there in the park, surrounded by faces who believed in her, she knew the stakes had grown even higher. Could she face this new threat? Did she have the strength to keep going when the shadows loomed so close? The real question echoed in her mind as she looked at Emma, who now wore a smile, a testament to courage and hope. How could she protect them when her heart raced with fear? As Mia closed her eyes, she steeled herself for the battle ahead. She had to decide, would she run away or stand tall against the looming darkness? As she opened her eyes, determination set in. Tomorrow would reveal whether her whispers of encouragement could ignite a louder call for justice or if they would be silenced. The choice was hers. Mia stood still, her heart hammering as the ominous words echoed in her mind. She tucked her phone back into her pocket, fighting the urge to tremble. The laughter around her felt distant now, like a fading soundtrack to a scene she no longer recognized. Emma nudged her gently, her shy smile losing its brightness. "Are you okay?" she asked. Mia forced a smile, even as questions swirled like storm clouds in her mind. "Yeah, I'm good. Just thinking about everything." She glanced around, trying to gauge the mood of the crowd. Most seemed blissfully unaware of the dark undercurrent she sensed looming above, but her instincts warned her that something was off. The park, normally a sanctuary, suddenly felt like a trap. "Let us focus on the flyers, okay?" Mia said, her voice more decisive than she felt. "We need to get the message out." Together they spread the flyers, Emma's uncertainty fading as she spoke gently to passerby. Each interaction seemed to embolden the girl. Mia couldn't help but feel proud. That flicker of bravery was contagious, igniting a spark within Mia too. If Emma could find her voice, maybe Mia could find hers too. Maybe, just maybe, she could protect them all. As the morning unfolded, people began to gather closer, listening to Mia's passion. She shared stories of those who couldn't be here, voices silenced by fear. It felt good to be speaking, the sound of her own hope mingling with the collective courage of the crowd. But as she looked into the eyes that shone with belief, a gnawing worry clutched at her heart. What if those threats were real? What if they weren't just shadows lurking in her mind, but tangible dangers? She couldn't afford to let fear overtake her now. Just then, she caught a glimpse of a figure standing at the edge of the park, partially obscured by a large tree. A chill ran down her spine as his gaze locked onto her, cold, calculating. It was the kind of look that sent a wave of dread crashing over her. Sam, noticing her alarm, followed her gaze. "Mia, what is it?" The concern in his voice matched the quickening pace of her heart. "Just someone watching us," she managed to reply, her voice trembling. "I think we need to." Before she could finish, the figure stepped into the light, revealing a familiar face that sent ripples of unease through Mia. "Hey, Mia, do you remember me?" he called out, his tone oddly casual. It was Derek, a guy from school, known for stirring trouble rather than championing causes. Mia's stomach dropped. "What are you doing here?" "Just came to see what all the fuss was about," he said, smirking as he approached. "Leave us alone, Derek," Mia replied, trying to keep her voice steady. She exchanged a quick look with Emma, who remained firmly by her side, but Mia could see the uncertainty in her eyes creeping back. "No can do," Derek shrugged. "Looks like you've gathered some fans. I just can't help but wonder what the consequences will be when the adults find out what you're up to." Mia swallowed hard, her pulse racing as fear knotted in her stomach. "You don't know anything," she shot back, though her voice wavered. Derek laughed, an icy sound that made goosebumps rise on her arms. "Oh, I know plenty. You should watch your back, Mia." The crowd's chatter faded away, replaced by the suffocating weight of Derek's words. Mia's heart raced as she felt vulnerability creep back in, piercing through the momentary veil of courage she had struggled to maintain. "Come on, guys," Derek called to the group, his voice dripping with mockery. "Doesn't Tishi know? Yelling about every voice matters is just asking for trouble." Mia clenched her fists, fighting against the growing sense of defeat. She wouldn't let him break their spirit. "Everyone here has a voice, Derek," she countered, her own confidence faltering but still present. "And we're not afraid of you or anyone else who wants to silence us." As she spoke, she could feel Emma's hand squeezing hers, steady and reassuring. But just then, Mia's phone vibrated again. She pulled it out cautiously, dread washing over her as she read the words. "Maybe it's time you discovered how far your little rebellion can go and just how easy it would be to stop it." Her heart raced as she looked around, the whispers of those who stood with her now tainted by fear. She turned to Emma, her voice barely above a whisper. "What do I do?" The doubt that had been creeping back felt like an anchor dragging her down. But Mia knew she had to make a choice. Would she let fear win, or use it to fuel her fight? The stakes were rising, and the moment of truth loomed ahead. Would she push past the shadows, or would they swallow her whole? Mia's breath quickened, and the weight of Derek's words pressed on her chest like a beast. She could see the unease ripple through the crowd, uncertainty dancing on every face. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about all of them. The fear clawing at her was palpable, threatening to undo all the time they had spent fighting for this moment. "Don't listen to him," Emma whispered. Her voice was firm despite the tremor in her hands. "You're stronger than this." Mia locked eyes with Emma, finding solace in her determination. But her heart still raced with dread. What if Derek was right? What if all of this, the flyers, the voices, the courage, would only bring trouble? The memory of the ominous text loomed large in her mind. She squeezed Emma's hand tightly. "Okay, let us stick together," Mia said, her voice steadier this time as she faced Derek. "This is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. We have a right to speak out." Derek stepped closer, his smirk broadening. "A bunch of kids thinking they can change the world. Adorable. But let me remind you who holds the power. You think your little gathering will make a difference? It just makes you a target." "Maybe it does," Mia shot back. "But we're done being afraid. We have to stand up for what's right." She felt the crowd perk up, murmurs sweeping across the individuals before her. Mia saw nods of agreement and heard the soft chorus of voices echoing her sentiment. It felt like a crack in the wall of fear that threatened to hold them back. Sam, visibly shaken but resolute, stepped up beside Mia. "If we don't take a stand now, when will we? Hiding won't solve anything." Mia glanced at Sam, his raw determination igniting something deep within her. They all shared that unyielding spark of hope, a belief that they could be the change the world desperately needed. She took a breath, steadied herself, and turned to face Derek fully. "Maybe you're right about one thing," she said, her chin lifted defiantly. "This could bring trouble, but sometimes trouble is necessary for progress." Derek's expression shifted, irritation surfacing beneath his practiced indifference. "You really think it's that simple? You have no idea what you're messing with." Mia opened her mouth to retort, but before she could speak, another vibration from her phone cut through the tension. Her hands trembled as she glanced at the screen. "Tick-tock, Mia. Every action has its consequences. Be careful who you choose to stand with." A chill went down her spine as the crowd noticed her distress. "Mia, what does it say?" Emma asked, worry etched on her face. It's another threat," Mia stammered, her heart dropping. "They're serious. They want to silence us." "What do you mean?" Sam frowned, the reality of the situation finally hitting him. "This is bigger than a school cause. There are people who will do anything to keep us quiet." Derek's chuckle sliced through the mounting tension, dragging it down again. "You see? This is what I'm saying. Do you think you're really going to change anything? You're just kids with opinions. They want to listen to you, but they will listen when it's too late." Mia felt heat wash over her, igniting the anger she had been bottling up in the face of Derek's taunts. "Then we make them listen." The crowd erupted in a tide of murmurs and chatter, their energy shifting from fear to determination. Mia felt a wave of purpose, pushing her forward. "Today, we're not backing down. We're not stopping until our voices are heard." As Mia looked around, the eyes of her friends and those new faces in the crowd began to glisten with hope. She realized the strength wasn't just in her, but in their shared determination. Derek's smirk faded, replaced by a shadow of uncertainty. You really think standing here shouting is going to help? You're foolish. Maybe, Mia replied, her voice calm. But our foolishness comes from a place of courage, and that's more powerful than you know. With a hesitant step, Derek retreated, an uncertain smirk still hovering as he mumbled something before disappearing back into the shadows. The crowd pressed closer together, a united front against the rising tide of fear. Mia lifted her chin and let out a breath, feeling lighter. This was their moment, not just hers. They had each other's backs, and for the first time, she truly believed they could change something. But just as they broke into a renewed wave of energy, Mia's phone buzzed again. Before she could check, a figure in the distance caught her eye, flanked by two others watching them intently. Who are they? Emma whispered, a new fear creeping back in. Mia's heart sank as she felt a chill crawl down her spine once more. This fight was far from over, and she wondered just how much danger they were all walking into. What had they really stirred in the shadows? And would they be ready to face what lurked just beyond their newfound courage? Mia's gaze locked onto the figures in the distance. The sun glared off their silhouettes, three looming shapes against the canvas of the late afternoon sky. Were they friends, or had she unknowingly summoned yet another threat? Their stillness unnerved her. I don't know who they are, she replied, trying to keep the quiver from her voice. But we can't let fear take over now. Just then, the crowd began to murmur, heads turning as more students caught on to the unusual sight. Fear misted over their faces again. Mia could almost feel it like a damp fog trying to swallow their courage. But this wasn't the moment to back down. Let us focus on our message, Mia called out, raising her voice above the chatter. They want to silence us, but we can't let that happen, right? As if on cue, the crowd erupted into chants. We want to back down. We want to be silenced. The energy surged, revitalizing Mia's hope. Encouraged by their support, she turned back to the figures. Something deep within her told her they had to confront whatever threat loomed, head on. Stay strong, she whispered to Emma and Sam, clutching their hands. We're in this together. The trio began walking towards the figures. Each step felt like a drumbeat of defiance resonating in her chest. As they moved closer, her heart raced. Were they ready for whatever truth might unfold? Hey, Mia shouted, forcing her voice to cut through the thickening tension. What do you want? The figures shifted slightly, and one stepped forward, revealing a girl with fiery red hair. We're here to listen, she called, her voice surprisingly calm. We want to hear what you've been saying. With the crowd still behind her and adrenaline coursing through her veins, Mia hesitated, her instincts warring within her. Trust? Hope? Or suspicion? Who sent you? She demanded, suspicion creeping into her voice. We're not here to cause trouble, the girl replied, sincerity echoing in her tone. She gestured back to her two companions, two boys, who stood watchful but non-threatening. We heard about your rally and what has been happening. We want to know if you're okay. Things aren't what they seem. Mia recalled the ominous messages, the threats that loomed ever closer. You have no idea what we're facing, she countered, feeling her heart keep a steady rhythm, as if bolstered by the crowd behind her. You're right, the red-haired girl said, taking another step forward. But maybe we can help. We know things, people, and we're tired of living in fear too. Mia shot a glance at Emma and Sam. Fear flickered in their eyes, but also a spark of curiosity. Could these strangers really be allies? Or were they another divide meant to fragment their resolve? Why should we believe you? Mia challenged. We've been warned of more danger coming our way. The girl paused, searching Mia's gaze. Because we want change, just like you. And because empowerment shouldn't come with fear. We only fight for what's right. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some were leaning in, intrigued. Others remained unsure, eyes darting to Mia for direction. Let us hear what they have to say, Sam suggested, his voice rising above the crowd. What if this is the key to making a real difference? Mia swallowed hard, weighing their options. The girl's stance looked genuine. But was it a risk worth taking? As the crowd shifted, anticipation hung like thick air, suffocating yet electric. Would they choose to step into the unknown, or would they retreat back into their safe bubbles of silence? Okay, Mia finally nodded. Let us talk. She felt the collective breath of the crowd hitch in unison, a momentary pause, as if the weight of the world paused along with it. What would they reveal? What could change if they dared to trust? The air crackled with expectation, and Mia couldn't shake the feeling that either way, this would be a turning point. But just then, a shadow moved behind them, a figure in black edging toward the fringe of the crowd. Mia's heart sank again. The fight was far from over. Would they stand united in this moment of decision? Mia's breath caught in her throat as the figure in black stepped closer. Her heart raced with the realization that the stakes were growing ever higher. The tension in the air thickened, her resolve simmering just beneath the surface. Around her, the crowd shifted nervously, whispers of confusion and unease bubbling up. She could feel Emma's grip tighten on her hand, and Sam's posture stiffen. What was this now? Who else was looking to confront them? Stay focused, she whispered to them, eyes darting to the newcomer as the mysterious figure hovered at the back of the crowd. A few friends from her class gasped, pointing in alarm. Mia? Emma's voice broke her concentration. What if they're here to intimidate us? What if? But Mia had had enough of fear dictating their actions. Let us not lose our way, she urged, feeling the energy of the crowd, some fearful, some hopeful against her. The red-haired girl took a step forward, taking charge. Everyone, please. Let us not let this distract us. We're here to talk about hope and change. As if on cue, the shadowy figure retreated slightly, blending back into the crowd. It was hard to decipher the threat, but relief flickered through Mia. Here was a chance to rally everyone around their cause instead of dwelling on fear. The red-haired girl turned back to Mia. We know something about those threats. They're designed to divide you. But if you stand together, you'll be unstoppable. Mia absorbed her words, looking around. Was that possible? Could they build a united front not only against the repercussions they faced, but also against the indifference of the world? What do you know? Mia finally asked, her voice steadier this time. There's a group behind these threats, the girl replied. A network seeking to suppress voices like yours. But we've connected with other groups who share the same struggle. Together, we can stand tall, but we need to know we can trust you. We can share resources, strategies. It's a movement waiting to happen. Hope flickered in Mia's chest. Could this truly be the chance to awaken their voices? What do we have to do? Listen, learn, and grow together, the girl assured. We are stronger when we share our stories and fight side by side. Sam's eyes brightened with understanding. We could really make a difference if we unite. The crowd hummed with unease, but also fascination. Mia knew this was their moment, a crossroads where they could choose safety or take the risk of stepping into powerful change. Okay, let us do it. A voice echoed out amongst the crowd, and others quickly joined in, their spirits lifting like a freshly ignited fire. Then, the figure in black took a few steps forward again, their face now faintly visible. Mia could see more youth from their school behind them, exuding both defiance and fear wrapped in one. Was the threat really growing closer? Who are you? Mia asked, her authority returning as she stepped forward, unwavering. Silence fell as everyone awaited a response. The figure hesitated, and there was a flicker of vulnerability in their eyes, stirring the shared humanity Mia fought for. Just then, a loud crash echoed from the direction of the school building, jolting everyone. Everyone stay calm, Mia shouted, her pulse racing at the unexpected sound. We need to regroup. But as she looked around, faces lost in confusion and wonder, she knew something big was coming. Would their actions now lead to unity or further chaos? Get ready, Mia said, determination burning in her chest. Whatever comes next, we face it together. But as her heartbeat thundered in her ears, she couldn't shake the feeling that their next challenge was just beginning. Mia's eyes darted toward the source of the crash. Panic surged through her as the crowd instinctively pressed closer together, seeking safety in numbers. Emma's grip tightened on her hand, and she could feel Sam tense beside her. Everyone was on edge, uncertainty hanging thick in the air like a heavy fog. Stay together, Mia yelled, her voice trembling but firm. We need to keep our focus. Whatever that noise was, it shouldn't break our spirit. Around her, the crowd murmured. The red-haired girl took a breath, her face set with determination. This is a test, don't let fear control us. Mia nodded at her, taking a step back to scan the crowd. Faces showed worry, But now there was something else, a flicker of rebellious fire. The group was ready, and it felt like they were teetering on the edge of a precipice, ready to leap into the unknown. Are we going to let them silence us? She called out, her heart pounding. Look around you. We're not alone. We have each other. A wave of agreement rippled through them, murmurs of no. And we want to be silent. Echoed back. Mia's pulse quickened. Maybe this was the spark they needed to ignite real change. The figure in black took another step, closer than before. For a moment, Mia locked eyes with them. Underneath the hood, a familiar face emerged. Jake, a classmate she hadn't seen in weeks. The confusion in his eyes mirrored her own. Jake, what are you doing here? Mia shouted, trying to push through the crowd to reach him. Trying to help. He shouted back, desperation lacing his voice. I were with the students from the other side of town. We heard what is happening. You're right. There's a network out to stop you. Mia felt warmth spreading through her chest at his words. They weren't alone. Then stand here with us, she urged, her heart swelling with hope. We need every voice to fight back. Jake nodded, stepping forward to join them, a silent promise of solidarity hanging in the air. Just then, another loud crash resonated from the school. This time, it felt different. It wasn't just a noise. It hinted at something bigger, more sinister. An unease rippled through the crowd again. We need to know what is happening, Sam shouted, his face turning pale. Mia took a breath, channeling the fear coursing through her. We're not leaving. We stay and fight. But as she said those words, shadows flitted across the edges of her vision. She turned just in time to see more figures emerging, each cloaked in shades of black. The crowd recoiled collectively, gasps escaping the lips of her friends. Who are they? Whispered Emma, clutching Mia's hand tightly. I don't know. Mia's voice faltered as her heart raced. Her instincts screamed at her to protect those around her. But we need to keep strong. Whatever their purpose, we won't let it intimidate us. The tension escalated, pulses racing among the crowd. The figures advanced slowly, deliberately, and Mia felt the air shift around her. This wasn't just an opportunity to stand together anymore. It was a challenge, an ultimatum. With renewed courage, she thrust her voice into the storm. Together, we face whatever comes. Who's with me? Then, a hushed noise swept through the crowd, and one by one, hands raised, faces hardened with determination. In that moment, Mia understood they were not just fighting for themselves, but for something greater. The fight wasn't just about them anymore. It held the weight of a movement, a promise of change. But just as they found their resolve, one of the black-clad figures stepped forward, a sharp glint in their eyes. You really think you have the power to change anything? Mia's heart sank, yet a fire ignited within her. You'd be amazed what true belief can accomplish in that fragile moment of truth. Everything hung in balance. Would they crumble under the pressure, or rise together as the united front they had fought to create? The answer was seconds away, and Mia's heart raced with the thrill of the unknown. What faced them next could either shatter their dreams or shape a new reality. Would they rise to the occasion, or would they let the fear defeat them? The next chapter awaited, and their fate lay just beyond the horizon. Mia's breath caught as the black-clad figure stepped into the faint light, casting a longer shadow across the pavement. It felt as if time stretched thin, every heartbeat echoing through her ears. The crowd was on edge. She could almost feel the collective heartbeat, a drumroll of anxious anticipation. Maybe you should rethink your words, the figure sneered, their voice low and threatening. The glint from their eyes made Mia's stomach twist. They looked like they were enjoying this, savoring the moment. But anger threaded through Mia, mingling with her fear. We're not afraid of you, she called back, her voice stronger than she felt. This was her moment and theirs. Every eye was on her, waiting for a sign. The crowd hesitated, looking at one another, shifting on their feet. She could sense their doubts, the crinkling of hope turning to skepticism. We've faced worse, Mia implored, lifting her chin a fraction higher. Together, we can change our world. We just have to stand firm. Emma squeezed her hand tighter, her knuckles white, but in her eyes, assurance glimmered. You're right, Mia. We have to keep going. Jake stepped forward, his voice steady. We're not backing down. You can't scare us into silence. His words sparked a fire among the group, the flames of determination flickering in their eyes. The figure scoffed. taking another menacing step forward. You think you're special? You're just kids playing superheroes. What can you really accomplish? Mia took a deep breath. Her heart thundered, echoing in the silence that enveloped them. This was a moment to ignite or to cower, and they wouldn't back down. We're not kids, she said, voice booming now, emboldened by their collective courage. We're a voice for change. Sam shouted from the back, we don't need power to change things. Just belief. His words echoed, resonating through the crowd. Like a rising tide, that a murmur of agreement grew louder, a crescendo that swelled in strength, pushing out fear. Music to Mia's ears, it harmonized with her heartbeats. She could feel the energy shift, a wave of commitment washing over them. Then, without warning, the cloaked figures began to move with a purpose, advancing towards the group. Panic surged within Mia, but fueled by the momentum around her, she clenched her fists, grounding herself. Stand firm, she yelled, the command igniting in her like a firework. The atmosphere crackled with energy. Remember why we're here. For each other. For our future. The crowd didn't flinch this time. They held their ground, shoulder to shoulder, breathing in unity. The figures stopped just short of them, the tension thickening with each passing second. Mia could feel each heart beating alongside hers. It felt like a collective heartbeat, growing in strength. The figures before them were unyielding, but they had something powerful, faith forged from shared struggles and hope. And then, tragedy struck. A loud cracking reverberated as the ground beneath them jolted, splitting the air like thunder. The energy shifted. The moment of unity had unleashed something more than they anticipated. What was that? Shouted one of the figures, looking back nervously, a flicker of confusion breaking their intimidating demeanor. Mia's heart raced. If this was a chance, they needed to seize it. Now, show them we are not afraid, she urged, her mind racing, making decisions in a heartbeat. Suddenly, a realization hit her hard, a revelation that opened pathways in her mind. They weren't just fighting against something dark, they were embodying the desire for change, a transformation of spirit that could ripple through every corner of their community. Look, Mia shouted again, her voice cutting through the chaos. This isn't only about us. It's about everyone who has ever felt powerless. Let us raise our voices not with fear, but with all the hope we have. And just as she said it, she caught sight of a group of younger kids, small, wide-eyed, and listening intently. It clicked into place. They were the future, and it was their right to believe in better days ahead. With that thought reignited, the crowd surged. They roared in unison, a symphony of voices intertwined. For the first time, the figures appeared uncertain, stepping back as if the sound alone had force. But then there was a hesitation, a moment lingering at the edge of decision. Mia stood firm, heart racing, waiting for the final call. Would their unity hold against the looming darkness? As the tension mounted, another sound pierced the air, a whimper, small and desperate. Mia turned towards the source, wondering what new challenge awaited them just as the reality of the situation began to unravel. Would they face more than they bargained for? Mia's heart skipped as she turned towards the sound. The whimper grew louder, penetrating the rising emotions swirling in the crowd. Panic surged, but she quickly wrestled it down. Something was happening, and it was her responsibility to respond. Stay strong, she called out, keeping her voice steady. We have each other. Mia stepped cautiously toward the sound, her instincts guiding her. As she approached, a girl emerged from behind a nearby tree, tears streaming down her face. It was a younger girl, maybe 8 or 9, with messy hair and a look of utter fear. Help! They took my sister, the girl cried. They're trying to take her away. Mia's blood ran cold. The word struck her like a lightning bolt. Who was they? Ignoring the crowd, she knelt down beside the girl. Where did they take her? Tell me everything you know. As the girl spoke, Mia's spine stiffened, her resolve crystallizing. Behind the clamor of nervous voices surrounding them, she felt a surge of determination, the old fears crumbling away. No longer could she stand back. It was time to fight back with everything they had. The girls behind her began to murmur, and Mia turned to address the growing crowd. We can't let this happen. We've united against one fight. Now we must keep that unity and save her sister. We need to move. It was as if a spark ignited within the group. In that instant, Everyone shifted from fear to action. Beneath the shadow of the looming threat, they transformed. They weren't just kids anymore. They were warriors bound by empathy, ready to defend each other. "Let us set up a perimeter," Sam said, his voice ringing with authority. "We can protect the area until we know everyone is safe." Mia felt a wave of strength wash over her as they began to organize, a synchrony forming amidst the chaos. Eyes locked in focus, they fashioned makeshift signs, readying to stand as barriers of hope and defiance. Mia's heart raced with renewed conviction. This isn't just a fight for our voices anymore. It's for our sisters and brothers, for everyone we care about. The crowd cheered. The fear still loomed, but it was overshadowed by an unmistakable spark of courage. They scattered, searching for the girl's sister and confronting the figures that had begun to retreat as shock rippled through their community. Mia could feel adrenaline pumping through her veins. She had transformed from a scared girl into a beacon of hope, a leader rallying those around her. If they were going to confront this darkness, it would be together. Suddenly, an eerie silence fell, punctured only by the cries echoing through the streets. "We know where they are. Let us go," someone shouted. It was as if that one call had reignited the fire in everyone's hearts. Mia led them down the street, the combined force moving with determination and purpose. They arrived at an abandoned building, its dark windows looming like the hollows of despair. "It's in there," the younger girl cried again. "No one goes in without a plan," Mia instructed. They huddled together, gathering their thoughts as she tried to quell the growing anxiety. "It was now or never. We'll create a distraction while a few of us slip inside to find your sister," Mia said to the younger girl. "Stay close, we're getting her out." And with that, Mia's voice was once more a rallying cry. "When I say go, we let out a roar of strength. Let them hear we want to be silenced." Eyes lit up around her, strength pooling in every shared heartbeat. "Ready." They breathed together, waiting, anticipation tightening the air like a drawn bowstring. "Mia," the figure in black shifted, glancing in their direction. "Now," she yelled. What erupted was a tidal wave of voices, a cacophony of resoluteness. The sound vibrated through the air, enveloping them in a powerful chorus, an anthem against injustice. As they pushed toward the entrance, the door slammed open, and Mia found herself facing the dark figures from before, but this time, she felt nothing but strength. "This ends today," she shouted, feeling the weight of unity behind her. They surged forward, stepping into the darkness as one, fueled by the hope of rescue, love, and the newfound belief that together they could conquer anything. Mia's heart raced as they pushed through the oppressive atmosphere. Together, they were fierce and unstoppable. This moment wasn't just theirs. It had transformed into a community fighting against the shadows that threatened their home. In that tumultuous clash, Mia realized that courage was born from vulnerability, and their shared love would forever shape their journey. They charged forward, hands grasped tightly, ready to shape their own fate, a future woven with hope, resilience, and the belief that together, they could create change that would echo far beyond that day. Don't wait another moment. You need to subscribe to the channel now, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like right this second to fuel the algorithm and help us spread these messages. Comment below with your feelings and reactions about this incredible ending. Let's keep the energy alive, and share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You have the power to spread hope today.